Hey everyone, I'm Tom and welcome to the Orange Chronicles, where I chronicle what I have been up to over the past week or so. We're going to go ahead and dive into the books to start with here. And I've just got to say, reading was way down this week. I had a bunch of stuff going on in real life that maybe I'll talk about a little bit later. But between work and some other stuff outside of work, I definitely did not get as much reading done as I would like to. So as I reported last week that I would be finishing Demon in White, that is not what happened. So I am still working on Demon in White. I am currently on chapter 57. And as I record this, I still have the rest of this weekend to go ahead and finish this up or make a lot of progress on it, which I normally do. Normally Sunday, the day I'm recording this, is like I call it my power day when it comes to reading, because I don't normally have a whole lot to do and I can just sit and listen to my audiobook or read whatever is going on, which is always super nice to have one of those days. Now, what I will say, since the last time we talked, so much has happened in this book. I feel like both at the same time, crazy things have happened, super emotional things have happened, and there's something that just happened recently in the book, obviously spoiler free here, that I thought might happen, but I was more on the camp of it wasn't going to happen. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, being that far into it. And I didn't expect for that moment to be so emotionally impactful. But I was actually listening to this while I was driving, and I was like, oh no, I could probably cry. Like, it was one of those ones where, like, if I had wanted to cry, totally could have, but like I could feel it for sure. It was such a just an emotional moment that, like I said, I wasn't sure if it was something that was ever going to happen. I feel like right before it happened, Rockio kind of like made me feel like more confident that it was going to happen, just because of some things that were said inside of the text itself. I was like, I feel like he's reminding me of something so that I hadn't forgotten of it if I had taken like a long span of time in between some of these books. But I have just got to say, I'm glad it happened. I think it's something I wanted to happen, but it also would have been I would have been okay if it never happened also. It would have been like a more bittersweet moment, and instead it's this heartwarming, emotional, like happy moment, which it feels like you kind of needed it, because there's a lot of down in some of these books, right? Like bad thing after bad thing. And it was kind of nice to have this huge swelling of like triumph and success and happiness, right? Because there's a lot of unhappy things that happen in Sun Eater. And so it's nice to kind of balance that out a little bit. As we stand right now, I'm not sure that Demon in White is going to beat out Howling Dark for my favorite Sun Eater book, and I'm saying that with a decent amount of this book left. And funny enough, the last time I said this about Howling Dark, when I said I think Howling Dark is going to end up being a 4-star for me, I continued and finished that book and was blown away by it. Absolutely loved the ending. I thought so much awesome stuff happened in the end of that book that it ended up being a 5-star for me. So maybe the same thing will happen here with Demon in White. And I would love for that to happen. I would love for this to be another 5-star book, for it to be better than Howling Dark. Like, that is what I want. But as we sit right now, I just think it is another fantastic entry into this book. It's a book that I really, really, really like. I'm just not sure it's going to get there. But I have also heard the ending of Demon White is pretty crazy, and I think there's maybe some foreshadowing that has happened in the book that makes me think of what is going to happen could be this epic, crazy thing. And so I'm just curious. We'll see what happens. But fingers crossed that it is that good and everything happens there. Also, I have continued, and I'm reading this on Kindle, is Reigns of Destiny. This is a short story by Jenny Orts. I think I read like 2 pages of this 23-page short story. Like I said, again, crazy week for me, so I didn't actually have too much time to sit around and physically read. And the other thing that I'm working on is this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Once again, I barely made any progress in this for the same reasons of just being very busy this week. And if I'm very, very busy, normally the thing that takes the biggest hit is physical reading. So that's why the Kindle and the comic did not get nearly as much attention as the audiobook, because I can multitask a little bit better for that. But that does mean coming up, I should finish this Supergirl. I should 100% finish Reigns of Destiny, and I should definitely finish Demon in White this week, if not very early this week. So the next couple of things I have up on the calendar to read are the Immortal Investigations by Michael Cronk. That is the book guy here on YouTube. He has a great channel, does some amazing reviews if you've never seen his channel. And so at some point I'm going to read this after I finish Demon in White. It's going to break up probably before I go into either this book, which I'm still not 100% sure. I want to say Shanghai or every time I see this book title, and I know that's not right. So after that, it'll be between that and Iron Flame will be the ones I'm kind of debating to after the Immortal Investigation, which is a pretty short book. So it could be one that if I have a good reading week, I get to one of these before we talk again. And then I will also move on to the last short story I need to read before I can continue on into the Wars of Light and Shadow of Jenny Wirtz, and that is the Sundering Star, which is another short story. I think it is also like 20-something pages. So that's another one that once I can get to it, I'll get to it. And by next week, hopefully, I have those 2 short stories done so I can start to work onto that. And then that is all of my reading, actually. Like I said, kind of a slow week, in case you're curious. We had some production issues go on at work. We were doing some maintenance at nighttime. It started at 11 p.m. and I didn't go to bed that night until 5 a.m. So a super long day. Obviously, things happen. Like it just comes with the job. So that kind of really messed me up for not even just that day, but then the following day, because I still worked that next day. I started a little late, but staying up for 20 something hours in a row and then trying to adjust, and it definitely had me messed up, which is fine. I mean, it's work. Sometimes those crazy things kind of happen. And then also I've been driving around looking at wedding venues, which is this whole other thing in of itself. Looking at that, and I mean, it's been fun, but it is definitely something that I have to do. And then let's see what else. Those are the 2 things that kind of really took time away from me. Just to mention quickly some other things that I did out there on BookTube. I was in a discussion with It's Lit Book Reviews, Jesse and Andrew, on the first compendium of Invincible. It was a lot of fun. I'm a huge fan of the Invincible comics and the TV show, and those things came together, and we had a great time talking about that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I really don't have too much else to say on any of the fronts because of that work thing mostly, and driving around looking at wedding venues. But I would definitely like to know what you had going on this week, book-wise, what you watched, any of that stuff. Oh yeah, the NFL. I'm going to go rot in front of the TV and watch a bunch of football as well today. So any of that, I'd love to know what you had going on down below in the comments, or as always, you can hit me up in the Discord that is linked in the description. But remember to always read what you want when you want.